All right, everyone. This is Matt Walsh critiquing Don Lemon. Don Lemon should absolutely go to jail for this. Let's see.
Law enforcement officers. That is a crime. I guess we'll play this real quick. Don Lemon still grasping for a shred of relevance on his show nobody watches. Or this might have been on someone else's show that nobody watches. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is This is The Left Hook with Wajahat Ali. Talk about a show nobody watches. The Left Hook is the name of the show. You know,
I just want to be very clear. Your criticisms against somebody, they're not stronger because you're like, oh, no one watches that. I'm not saying this guy is popular, the show that Matt is referring to. I'm just saying that your criticism doesn't carry more weight if you attempt to tear down someone else's platform. Like, oh, it's not relevant. Who's that? That's stupid, dude. Do better. Matt, you portray yourself as a journalist, right? You portray yourself, you're basically a journalist or a news anchor. You report current events, right? So do that. Report them. Don't start off by saying, oh, no one watches that. Ugh, it's gross. You sound like a mean girl, dude. You don't sound like somebody that knows what they're talking about.
This is a show that gets tens of downloads, tens and tens.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that doesn't help you. It makes you look like a dickhead.
And anyway, here he is, Don Lemon. And just listen to this. Here it is.
Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away.
I'm just going to be honest with you, though. I will say this, though. I'm not defending Matt Walsh or anything. But it does seem like every single day there's like a new show. The Left Hook with this guy. Like every day. I swear to God, there's like a new podcast or new political show every single day. It just makes me wonder, are these people like successful in their own careers? Are they launching things themselves? Or are they backed by powerful political interests that want, to push their message through these people? I don't know. I mean, Don Lemon at least was like an anchor for a while, but I don't know this guy on the left. I genuinely don't know. It seems to me, all I'm saying is not to discredit what Mr. Ali does, but it does seem to me that there's like a new show every single day. So it's like there's so many podcasts and shows. It's hard to keep track of them all.
Without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for? Go back and read what the Second Amendment says. And perhaps it will knock some sense in the heads of these people.
I don't think it's terribly responsible for a journalist to or it's like Don Lemon, somebody like him, for example, to tell people to arm up. I mean, whatever. I mean, because why? There's nothing wrong with buying weapons. And the right does it all the time. Second Amendment, get guns, arm up, make sure you're ready, whatever. I just don't think, it's very responsible for the temperature to keep rising. And Don Lemon, and really liberals in general, they want the conservatives to turn the temperature down. Now you're telling people to arm up. I don't think you should go to jail for it. I just think it's a little bit reckless. Because Don is not arming up himself, okay? He's not a soldier. He's not a cop. He's a liberal arts guy, okay? He's a journalist. He's a blogger. At this point, Don Lemon might as well be a fine arts student or like a fine arts person, like a theater kid. He's a theater kid, okay? He's a performer. That's all this is. It's just performers trying to rile up the base so they can get more engagement. Just look, let me tell you something. If you want to buy a firearm, you want to go do the whole process. Do it because you want to learn how to use it. Want to go to the range. It's cool to practice and know how to use it.
Well, it's all great.
Shit. It's an important tool to know how to use and to have at your disposal. But do it because you want to respect the culture a bit. You want to learn how to, carry yourself. You want to, maybe for home defense. I just think it's a bit irresponsible for Don Lemon to be arm up. Every black, brown, whatever person do it. It's irresponsible. 100%.
I don't believe they're doing it without due process. They're asking people for papers. They're not really beating people up. These people are doing things that are illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a misdemeanor to cross the border.
I don't think that's a good enough argument. I certainly don't think it's a good argument or a good idea that Don Lemon, a famous and wealthy former political pundit and journalist, I don't think it's responsible for you to tell people to arm up because ICE is, circumventing the Constitution. Yeah, ICE is circumventing the Constitution, but don't tell people to arm up. Are you kidding me? You're just going to make it more dangerous for people. Don't do that. You want a recommendation to buy a gun? I'll give you one. Buy a firearm because you want to go to the range with your family or friends and shoot some targets and then go home and put it away in a safe. That's why you should get one, because it's a cool tool and it's fun to spend a couple hours on a weekend at a range. That's it. Don't do it because ICE is doing something bad. Don't feed into the violence, right? Do not give them more reasons to harm you. Do not give ICE or this administration in general reasons to harm you, okay? Don, you're being incredibly inappropriate, and you are putting people's lives at risk by this kind of rhetoric. I can't believe I'm actually agreeing a little bit with Matt Walsh. I don't think he should go to jail, by the way. I don't think that at all. I just think Don is being incredibly inappropriate. And he is, if he's not careful, he's going to feed into some of that violence. Do not tell people to arm up because the government is doing or not doing something. Stop, okay? Just stop. Do not give them more reasons to harm you or detain you unlawfully. Whoa, my mouse is fucking crazy right now.
It's frustrating to listen to Don Lemon. This is a time when we need the fish cam. Just cut to the fish so we can all. It's like the Zen. It's a moment to collect ourselves. Things get a little heated on the show sometimes. And so we just cut to the fish cam, calm down, and then we jump back into it. And we're going to skip over the part.
I'm absolutely smashing this shit. I got leftover Qdoba from last night. I made some chicken strips, and I have a spinach and feta quiche, or whatever these little triangle things are down here. I don't really know, but they're really good. I also just had a killer workout today and a protein shake, so I'm good, man. Man, this is fucking great. I'm smashing this food right now.
At the end where he says that that nobody is illegal, it's a misdemeanor. Actually, well, first of all, it's a misdemeanor on your first offense, just to be clear. Many of these illegals have crossed the border multiple times, many times, and it's actually a felony.
I can't believe I'm not necessarily agreeing with him. I don't think Don's argument for, nobody is illegal. I don't think that's a good enough argument to me. I don't think it's a good enough argument. Mentioning that's a misdemeanor, it doesn't make it bad. We want people here lawfully and legally, right? We have an asylum process. We have a process in general that we need to revamp a bit. But I don't think it's a good enough argument for Don Lemon to be like, yo, nobody's illegal. It's just a misdemeanor. That's not a good enough excuse to tell people to arm up, okay? You should not be stoking like more of the chaos and more of the divide and more of the paranoia, okay? People will watch Don Lemon and be like, yeah, I should fucking get a gun. These people are going to try to kill us. Please don't do that. Don't give them any more ammunition. You want to buy a gun for home defense? Okay, fair. Go to the range, have fun, fair. But do not arm up with the intent of going up against federal law enforcement officers. Do not do that. They might be circumventing the Constitution and doing some not great things, but do not give them more ammunition. Like this doesn't help anybody, man.
On your second offense. And so
what's crazy is conservatives will always call for civil war, and they'll puff their chest and go, the left isn't ready. We're armed up. And then he'll denounce Don for basically doing the same thing. Like, they're all hypocrites, obviously. I have to point that out. Like, I'm not defending Matt here. His base they're all over Twitter, all over the internet. Talking about like arming up and how the liberals don't have enough guns and conservatives have most of the, like, oh my God, have most of the guns, right? They can't win in a civil war. Both sides are guilty of this, like, civil war, like they're praying for it. But they only do it. They only invoke the Civil War rhetoric because it gives them more engagement. Just keep that in mind when a Don Lemon is telling brown or black people to arm up, or Matt Walsh or people on the right are talking about how the right is more armed up than the left. Just keep in mind they're only doing the Civil War. They're only invoking it for engagement. I don't think any of these people actually intend on fighting any type of war, let alone a civil war, because if they really wanted to be war fighters, they would have joined the military. There was a time when Matt Walsh was young enough to serve. He might still be with a waiver. I don't know how old he is now, actually. How old is Matt Walsh? How old is Matt Walsh? Yeah, he's too old. Maybe he can get a waiver. I'm not sure. But if you guys really want to serve and go to war, then join the military, dude. I did 6 years. Join the military, okay? So I just think both sides do the Civil War invocation because it gets engagement. I just think it's incredibly reckless for both sides to do it, because the more you want or wish for something, like the more likely I think it might happen. You have to be careful with the Civil War shit. Do not start puffing your chest and telling people to arm up. It's not a good idea. I don't want anyone arming up. I don't want anyone to die. Okay? Jesus.
A lot of these illegals are multiple felons because they've crossed the border multiple times. But whatever, that's not the point. The first cross is a misdemeanor. Well, guess what, Don? Misdemeanors are illegal. That's why we call them misdemeanors. They're crimes. What do you mean nobody is...
Why would Don say that? Because that's a perfectly good point. Not that Matt is right about anything here. But that's a perfectly good point. Why would Don say, oh, it's not even it's just a misdemeanor? It's still against the law, technically. I mean, why would you give them that ammunition? Why would you be so reckless, Don Lemon, in your reporting of this event or this situation here, and give the right more ammunition? How stupid are you, dude? Seriously.
It's illegal. It's a misdemeanor. What do you mean? It's not illegal. It's a misdemeanor. What? Do you think misdemeanors are legal? I mean, what do you think a misdemeanor is? Do you think a misdemeanor is a legal infraction of the law? Do you think a misdemeanor is when someone breaks the law legally? Your Honor, I broke the law. Yes, I did break the law.
I have to say this. I cannot believe I'm actually going to agree here a little bit. But I used to think that liberals were the party of education and intelligence and research and critical thinking. But when you got a guy like Don Lemon, quote, telling brown and black people to arm up and saying that nobody is illegal, it's just a misdemeanor, not even acknowledging that a misdemeanor is an example of a law being broken, so it's technically illegal, it's obviously illegal. What's crazy to me is I thought liberals were smarter than this, but they're so hell-bent on just emotional vomiting all over, on their camera so they can get engagement. They don't even care about what's happening in reality. I swear, Don Lemon, not that he had any credibility before, but you'd think as a CNN personality anchor, he'd be a little more careful. He'd be a little more well thought out. It wouldn't just be pure 24/7 emotional vomiting in front of a camera. I'm appalled by just the lack of journalistic integrity on display from Don Lemon. I honestly am. I cannot believe that you can have a career at CNN, a job, right, in a massive media organization, and have this type of character. Unreal to me. It makes me wonder if it really is hard to find a good journalist. So these people, these organizations just have to hire anyone because they don't have a choice. I just thought some liberals were better than this, and I thought a guy of his status and position in the industry was better. I guess I was wrong. I guess I was mistaken. I guess Don Lemon is no different than the people on the far right who just, emotionally vomit in their Twitter feeds or in front of a camera for engagement. I guess both sides are just really bad at this. Holy shit.
But I did so legally, Your Honor. So a misdemeanor, it's kind of like when you get married, but you're still a bachelor, or when you build a house that's a circle, but also a square.
That's dumb. I wish you would just move on. He made a good point already. You don't have to do these dumb analogies. No stupid analogies, please.
It's a paradox. It's a contradiction in terms. It's a mystery. That's what a misdemeanor is. No one can say for sure. It's this ambiguous concept, and no one is sure what it means. No, Don, a misdemeanor is illegal. It's a crime. You doofus. You guys have heard me talk about the bearskin hoodie. Well, the smart people...
I can't believe you called him a doofus. Look, you drove the point home, dude. I mean, at this point, you're just beating a dead horse. You don't need 4 or 5 analogies after you've already made your point. Let's skip his ad. What is bearskin? Damn it. Damn you. Damn you, conservatives. Damn Daily Wire. I'm already going to buy Michael Knowles' cigars. Bearskin hoodie. Damn it. Oh, it's a tactical hoodie? Man, we gotta talk about we gotta talk about conservatives who've never served cosplaying with tactical gear. Whatever, you can wear whatever you want. It's a free country. I just think it's kind of funny. People have never served, and look at his background. He's a hunter and a fisherman, and he's got tactical gear. Matt is not a soldier, okay? Matt was never a soldier. I just think it's kind of funny. Whatever, though. To each their own. It's a free country. Oh, it's just fleece, right? Oh, damn it. Do I really want to get... no, I don't want to put my email on there, so I'm not doing that on camera, What is this? I feel like you can get this one. Okay, I'm just heads up. You can get something similar to this when you enlist in the military. When I was in the Army, I got something issued kind of similar to this. Okay, I mean, it was the color. It was the Army color. Like it was the color of the uniform we had at the time. But you can definitely get this when you enlist. I want to know though how much money it is. Holy shit! What? Why is it $250? What is this subtotal for? Why is it buy one plus get plus get free shipping? Oh, it's 60% off. Why is it $250 fucking though? Full price, I mean. Ooh, you get a well, it should be your right arm. If you're adding the patch, it should be your right arm. I can't believe we're doing this right now. I'm not buying this. I just want to say I like a little bit bigger, so maybe we do 2x or maybe 3, just because I like putting things underneath it. That's pretty sick, honestly. Ooh. Okay then. That's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Okay. Oh shit, dude. Wow, it's actually really fucking cool, honestly. Bearskin two Velcro patches. This is basically something you'd get when you enlist. Although we don't get like a hooded one. That's pretty cool. Damn it, that's actually pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. It looks pretty comfortable, honestly.
People are.
Whoa! We're not doing your ad read, bro. How long is this ad read for? 1 minute. Okay, like 1 minute and 40. Real quick. If this channel ever gets big enough and I do like ads, I'll try to keep it short. But obviously, like I don't know if I don't know how this stuff works. My guess is like the company reaches out to you and they're like, "Hey, can you read this?" Like, so I'll try to keep it short. If this channel ever gets anywhere, I'm just saying, if it does, I'll try to keep it a little short and only do things that I'll actually use. Although in this case, that's pretty fucking cool. That's a cool hoodie. Damn it, I get cigars and a hoodie now.
Bringing that's an insult we need to bring back into circulation, doofus, because it really applies to Don Lemon. That's just the first. Every time I see him, it's actually the first thing that pops into my head. I don't know. There are a lot of insults that fit him really well. Some we can say on camera and some we can't. But doofus is a good one, and it fits him.
Doofus is fine. Look, why are we insulting people? Like, come on, man. I mean, what he's like, some we can say on camera, some we can't. What are the ones you can't say on camera? Is it because Don Lemon is a gay man? Can we stop with the homophobia? I'm not saying that. Look, he didn't say that, but he did say some we can say on camera and some we can't. So can we just stop with the homophobia? Just attack the person on their ideas, or if they have legitimately bad character. And I don't mean being gay, just bad character. They're not good people. Then you can like call them out on that. But like, I don't think homosexuality qualifies as bad character. Although a lot of people on the right, maybe even Matt, would probably include that, despite the fact that there are plenty of gay conservatives that like run in the same circles as he does. I just don't get that at all, by the way. But whatever.
Suits him well. But anyway, that's not the point. The point is that Don Lemon just explicitly encouraged people to go out and buy a gun and use it.
Yeah, that's weird.
Against federal law enforcement officers. That is a crime. Speaking of crimes, that's a crime. And not a misdemeanor either, by the way. Threatening government officials, and that's what this was unambiguously, is a felony punishable. And just explicitly encourage people to go out and buy a gun and use it.
See what he said.
Stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for?
I don't think what he said was illegal. He didn't explicitly state, go buy a gun and kill federal agents. He said, go buy a gun because when you have people knocking at your door and unlawfully taking people away or whatever, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? Which I would argue, yes. The Second Amendment is for that scenario, the right to bear arms or form a well-regulated militia, against a tyrannical government, right? Let's for a second, I want to read what the actual Second Amendment says, because I don't think the conservatives ever really are accurate with it either. Second Amendment. Okay. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Okay. I don't think anything that Don Lemon said was illegal. If he said go buy a gun so you could be ready to shoot federal agents, okay, that's fucked up. But all he really said was, in the event that they knock on your door and they unlawfully take you or whatever without a warrant, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? I agree. I think the whole point of the Second Amendment was for citizens to be able to protect themselves against a tyrannical government. That was literally the point, the why we fought the Revolutionary War, right? Although at the time the Second Amendment was written with muskets in mind, we might need to revise it to include like shotguns and pistols and other rifles, whether or not they're fully automatic or semi-automatic. We should probably update the Second Amendment to keep up with the technology of firearms. I also don't think that you should be illegally allowed to own like a grenade or an RPG or like a grenade launcher. Like I think that's common sense. I personally don't think anyone really has a need for a fully automatic rifle, but I have no problem with like shotguns or semis. No problem with that. I mean, whatever. So look. Anyway, my point is this: I don't think what Don said was illegal. He didn't say go kill people, go kill federal agents. He just said, isn't that what it's for? Isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? Implying that you should be able to protect yourself against unlawful search, seizure, or unlawful detainment. I think that's fair. I don't think it's illegal. It's not illegal, which is why he won't get. He might get a little. Actually, he doesn't work for CNN anymore, so he does his own thing now. So he doesn't really work for anyone anymore. But he won't go to jail. At worst, they'll clown on him for a couple of weeks and then they'll forget about it.
Or go back and read what the Second Amendment says, and perhaps it will knock some sense.
And not a misdemeanor either, by the way. Threatening government officials, and that's what this was unambiguously, is a felony punishable. Well, it was published on that, but punishable by 5 years in prison.
I don't think you can prove that it was a direct threat against law enforcement officials. I don't think you can prove it. I don't think anyone will be able to prove it. I think it's perfectly fair to say, black people, Mexicans, whatever, go out and legally purchase a firearm, so that when people show up at your door and try to unlawfully detain you, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? He didn't say go kill federal agents or anything close to that. I think Matt's first reaction is to jail everyone he disagrees with. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was Michael Knowles who said in a recent video that he wanted Destiny to go to jail. So this is what the right does when somebody says something they don't like, even if it's a little risque, because it's not illegal, by the way. You can't prove it in court of law. Nothing Don Lemon said violates. It's free speech. That is free speech. Okay. Their first knee jerk is to be like, go to jail, put him in jail forever, jail, 5 years jail. That's illegal. No, it's not. Prove it. Any lawyer out there, build a case against Don Lemon on that specific quote from that video. Build a case. Try. See how far you get. You won't get far. You just won't. It's not illegal to tell people to legally purchase a firearm and then ask, hey, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? When people are knocking on your door and searching your home without a warrant or detaining you with no probable cause or no warrant or no due process, isn't that what it's for? And technically, you can argue that yes, that's exactly what the Second Amendment is for. Anyway, let's move on.
And given that he was encouraging people to commit this crime in order to avoid being arrested for committing another crime, then you could also say this is obstruction of justice. I mean, there are multiple.
No. I just got suspended on Nextdoor for this exact thing. Okay? It is not obstruction of justice. And also, Don Lemon didn't say that they were there lawfully searching or had a warrant. He said in the event that you have federal agents knocking on your door with no warrant, no probable cause, and they unlawfully detain you, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? Well, yes, it is technically, right? If federal agents are searching your home or detaining you without due process, without a warrant, then they're completely in violation of the law, and you have a right to do what you can. I wouldn't suggest violence, but you can fight back. You can sue them. You can record them. You can refuse. You just lock your door. Don't go outside. Fuck them. Bye. You can't. No offense, federal agents. Fuck you. Okay? You can't arrest me for no reason. You have to have probable cause, you dinguses. Okay? And by the way, I got banned on Nextdoor, suspended, okay, for this exact argument. When I said it's not obstruction of justice to go on the app or any social media app and state ICE presence is in my neighborhood. I see ICE presence. It's not illegal. Transparency is not illegal. okay, and legally buying a firearm because you think in your head, man, what if they do try to detain me unlawfully? Like, I'm a citizen. What if they try to come after me? I should have some kind of home defense. That's not illegal. That's the point of the Second Amendment. I don't think Matt is smart enough to understand what our amendments mean, or he does understand them and he doesn't care. You know, it's rules for, you know, thee, but not for me. Matt will defend free speech in the Second Amendment till he's blue in the face. But when someone else wants to do the same thing and defend it for their own personal agenda or their feelings or whatever the case may be, oh, it's wrong, it's a felony, it's illegal, go to jail. Here's the thing. I challenge any law enforcement agency, any lawyer, any politician, go ahead. Try to build a case against me when I'm literally saying I will report ICE presence in a public format. I will say it on an app. I will use my First Amendment rights and tell my neighbors that I see ICE in my local area. Good luck proving that it's obstruction of justice, because it's not, you freaking dinguses, you doofuses, right? It's called the First Amendment. And in this case here, Don is exercising his First Amendment rights and highlighting what the purpose of the Second Amendment is for, okay? It's obvious here.
There's at least 2 felonies that Don Lemon just committed. At least 2.
No, absolutely not. No lawyer or judge will ever try to go after Don for this. I promise you that. Those are not felonies. To tell people to legally purchase a firearm and then ask them, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? When you have people trying to invade your home and take you without due process or probable cause or a warrant? Wow, what else is the Second Amendment for? So when ICE shows up at my doorstep, I should just let them do whatever the fuck they want? Sorry, but unless you have a fucking warrant, you're not welcome here, right? Sorry, like, I don't owe you anything. This isn't a police state. This isn't Russia. If I want to go outside and be like, what's up, cops? Fuck you. You can't arrest me for that. That's free speech. I'm sorry, you can try. Hell, if you do try and detain me, I'll sue your entire fucking department. That's why we have amendments and we have a Bill of Rights, right? And we have laws and we have free speech. We have these things so the government can't just do whatever the fuck they want to you. Because we had that before we fought the Revolutionary War. That's why we came to America. That's why the Europeans, you know, that's why our founding fathers came here. Because they had that kind of state. They lived in that kind of life. And it was dangerous.
So he should be arrested today. He committed a crime. That's not free speech. You have no right to say that.
100%. I have every right to say that, Matt. I have every right to say that. They will not arrest him. As much as I think Don Lemon is kind of cringe and not very smart, they cannot arrest him for that. It's not illegal. There's no law that was broken there. Holy shit. It's crazy how this doofus, Matt Walsh, doesn't even understand how the First Amendment works. It's just like, is there anything going on up here besides dreams to cosplay being a hunter or a soldier? I'm serious, man.
You don't have a right to just say whatever you want, actually.
Actually, I kind of fucking do. I have every right to say that specific thing. I can go on camera tomorrow. I'll go to the news, right? And I'm not an anchor, but like I can go to like local news tomorrow and be like, hi, my name is Scott Scully, and I'm telling every single American out there to legally purchase a firearm in order to have self-defense and a hobby on the weekend, like going to the range. Separately, I can say, isn't that what the Second Amendment is for? That you're able to legally arm yourselves just in case? Because we had a tyrannical government and we had founding fathers write these into effect for our country? Isn't the point of the Second Amendment is so you can protect yourself from unlawful detainment or search and seizure? If you're going to try to arrest somebody or search their home, you better have a fucking warrant available. I'm serious. We have laws for a reason. There's absolutely no judge or no lawyer in the history of fucking earth that would ever entertain this. He didn't break any law. I think he's being irresponsible, but irresponsibility regarding speech isn't always necessarily, illegal, is what I'm saying.
There are some things you don't have a right to say. And one of those things is to tell people to go out and shoot and kill.
He never said that. We just saw the quote. You can rewind my video. We just saw that. Okay, let's do it right now. Let's prove this dingus doofus wrong, okay? Did he say go out and shoot and kill people?
Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally. Because when you have people not...
Right now, he's telling people, American citizens, right? People of color who are American citizens, to legally, by the way, you cannot purchase, I'm pretty sure you cannot purchase a firearm legally if you're not an American citizen, okay? So what he's saying, he's actually advocating for responsible gun purchasing. Something I have never seen Republicans ever talk about, by the way. He's saying, hey, POCs, POC American citizens, people of color, right? Go out and legally purchase a firearm legally. He keeps saying the word legally because that's how you're supposed to do it. Buy it legally. Go through the process. Background check wherever you're from. There's a legal process. Do it. That's not illegal. He's telling people to follow the law. Do this process by the letter of the law. How is that illegal? It's crazy to me, the mental gymnastics that Matt Walsh will engage in just to avoid any responsibility to the truth.
Knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as legally. Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written?
Yes. Here's my question, Matt, okay? My question to you is, what do you do? Because all I hear about are Republicans with the argument, a good guy with a gun, right? That's all I hear about. What do you do when you have somebody knocking on your door trying to detain you without a warrant, without any probable cause, without any due process? What do you do when law enforcement officers violate federal law and violate your rights? What do you do? Isn't your whole argument like the good guy with a gun is supposed to deter criminal behavior? Because technically, when you have federal law enforcement officers like ICE circumventing the Constitution, they're technically engaging in criminal behavior. They're breaking the law. They're not honoring due process. What else do you call that? When a law enforcement agency does not honor due process, well, technically what they're doing is illegal, unconstitutional. This is important. This is why we do have the Second Amendment, which is why Don Lemon, despite being irresponsible in my opinion, I don't think he's the right person to speak on this, didn't say anything illegal. I think, Matt, you have your panties in a wad right now. I clearly can see that you don't understand the First Amendment, and I don't even know if you understand what the Second Amendment means. But nothing Don said, he didn't say go out and shoot federal officers. Did he say that?
Go back and read what the Second Amendment says. And perhaps it will knock some sense in the heads of these people who are saying, well, it's all great. I don't believe they're doing it without due process. They're asking people for papers. They're not really beating people up. These people are doing things that are
illegal. They're tear gassing people and tackling journalists and putting children in zip ties. 100% they're doing illegal things.
Illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a misdemeanor.
I just want to say Matt is an idiot for misrepresenting what he said.
Is that we should use the Second Amendment to resist tyranny from the government, and so
that's exactly what the Second Amendment is for, though. That's the point of it.
So if someone
that was why it was written. It was literally for the purpose of, hey, the citizens should be able to form a well-regulated militia and keep and bear arms in the events, just in case we have another tyrannical government we have to fight against. Guys, that's exactly why the Second Amendment was formed. And by the way, Mr. Matt Walsh and other conservatives are like they call themselves, they act like they're constitutional purists. They always cite the Second Amendment, the good guy with the gun, cliche. They're always talking about how we need to step up against Obama's tyrannical government. We need guns. The only way to stop school shootings is a good guy with a gun. So you guys recognize that the Second Amendment was for stopping. It was a deterrent to tyranny, that the citizens could kind of form together and arm themselves just in case it ever happened again, right? Just in case we ever had an England problem again, like we did for the Revolutionary War. These guys, they will recognize what the Constitution means when it fits their argument. But when it's something that they don't believe in or something they don't like speaking about it, all of a sudden, it's illegal, it's a felony, you go to jail. That's not what the Constitution says, blah, 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 blah. Like, he's so stupid. Oh, my God, oh, my God. Conservatives, you guys don't even think. There's nothing going on up here. It's just 24/7 Trump propaganda and red, white, and blue decorations and golden Trump shoes.
One is coming to illegally seize an American citizen and throw them into Gitmo, if the fascists not...
What? They just deported somebody who they thought had Venezuelan ties to, like a Venezuelan gang, right? Because of his tattoos, and he was just like a makeup artist. Seriously? How they're not like he's like acting like, oh, this isn't happening. They're not doing anything unconstitutional. Yeah, they are. It's been proven.
Nazi Trump government or whatever is imposing this illegal tyranny, then we need firearms to defend ourselves. He could reach for that defense, but not here, because he admitted he was talking specifically about actual illegal aliens confronted by ICE agents who are carrying out the law.
About black people, brown people, whatever color you are, go legally purchase a firearm. Last time I checked, illegal immigrants cannot legally purchase a firearm. Don't you need proof of residency and citizenship to be able to buy one, like legally in a store? Last time I checked. I'm gonna look it up. I'll look it up because I don't think illegal can illegal immigrants legally purchase firearms? Really? I'm not talking about illegal immigrants. I mean undocumented. Hold on a second here. Are generally prohibited from pass. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he was not saying illegal immigrants. Oh, look, regardless of what the law is, he wasn't saying illegal immigrants go. He said black people, brown people, Indians, whatever you are, legally purchase a firearm legally. He was saying follow the law, regardless of what they are. Follow the law. Yeah, here we go. Federal law bars certain non-citizens from possessing firearms. The statute establishes the default legal rule cited by prosecutors and courts when undocumented people are charged with firearm offenses. Image of okay. Legal reasoning. Hold on a second. I want to read this over here a little bit. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Hold on a second there, Jesse. Hold on here. Okay. Oh no. Hold on. The president says like future resolution, political. Bottom line, legally, the prevailing rule is that are prohibited from possessing firearms. Okay, cool. That's all I wanted to know. Okay, that's all I wanted to know. Okay, I just wanted to know that. All right, that's all I wanted to know. Regardless of whatever that statute says, he never said illegals go do it. He said, black people, brown people, legally purchase a firearm legally. He was very, very careful to say legally, to say, he's directly stating follow the legal process of purchasing a firearm, right? We just looked up, most federal law prohibits illegal immigrants from possessing a firearm. Okay, major appellate rulings have upheld that prohibition. There are district rulings that create factual and constitutional questions that could prompt further appeals. Yeah, okay. Right now, if you're illegal, you can't just go and buy one. Okay, that's what that says. Okay, so he is misrepresenting the truth. That's all I'm saying here.
Laws of the land. Because he says, at first he says, when you have people taking you away as a citizen, right? So he does say that. But then he immediately qualifies that by saying that nobody is illegal. It's only a misdemeanor. So when he says citizen, he's talking about illegal aliens, and he thinks that illegal aliens are citizens. He just rejects the idea that anyone is not a citizen.
I think it was irresponsible for Don Lemon to say, hey, legally purchase one, and then also make the comments, no one is illegal, because it does create some confusion. When the first half of his statement, he's talking about legally purchasing a firearm, which only American citizens can do, only legal citizens can do, okay? And in the second half, he's saying no one's illegal. So the implication is that he meant that illegal immigrants should also purchase one too, but they can't legally. I think Don was just emotionally speaking there. I don't think he had a real consistent train of thought. But at the end of the day, he never ever said, and that's primary argument is twofold, that he was calling for the death and shootings of ICE agents or federal government law enforcement officers. And he never said that. And he was also saying that illegals should just buy firearms. He never said that either. He never said that. He said, if you're black, brown, Mexican, whatever you are, Indian, go out and legally purchase a firearm legally. So the implication means that he's talking about if you're a citizen, do it, because what happens if federal law enforcement officers try to search your house or take you without a warrant, probable cause, without any due process? What do? You're not going to let yourself get taken, right? Fuck no. Are you kidding me? If you're going to arrest me, you better have a fucking reason and a warrant. Better be legal documentation saying, we're doing it for this. You better fucking prove something, okay? Because at the end of the day, you try to arrest me without any due process, without any warrant, probable cause, I'm allowed to, that's self-defense, right? I can probably claim, I bet you I have a stronger case of self-defense in court. I'm not talking about murder. I'm just fighting back and running away, resisting. I think I have a better case of self-defense in court than you do for resisting arrest. If you can't even prove that there was legal, just, probable fucking cause or a warrant to arrest me, okay? If I fight back against an officer who is unlawfully detaining me, I am very confident that I will win in court because you have already proven that you don't have a warrant. There's no probable cause. You don't care about due process. You just want to detain me because you don't like me. That's all I'm saying. So I am very confident that I'd have any lawyer out there willing to defend me in court if I was unlawfully detained. If during that attempt to detain me, I boom fought back and ran away. That's all I'm saying. Because at that point, it's self-defense when the law enforcement officers are not following the law or due process, okay? That's the point I'm making here. But again, Don never said the things that Matt's accusing him of. That's what Matt does. That's what the right does. They lie. They twist the truth to stoke more fear and paranoia in their base.
When he says citizen of America, he means literally anyone on the planet. Because that's what he considers a citizen to be.
Nope.
And so that means that...
Liar, pants on fire. Anyway. I'm Scott. This is Cipher Division. I'm gonna end it here. We beat this point. We beat this fucking horse into the ground. Okay, it's ash at this point. It's dust. We beat this dead horse so fucking hard that we reduced the horse to atoms. Okay. Like, share, subscribe, comment. I will be making another video shortly, so if you're here, keep watching. There will be more. Thank you so much for watching, and for those of you that subscribed recently, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for just participating and being here with me. Mwah, I love you all. Oh my God, I just blew you guys a kiss. Whatever. Don't think about it. Don't let it sit in your head too long. We're just friends, okay? I'm married anyway. So I'll see you guys later. All right, peace out.